Hey, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are in the world. I'm Josh, that's Jason. This is the Redpill Project's Daily Dose, live with you Monday through Thursday, 7:30 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. And we were just having a conversation. Oh, that's me. I'm like, where's that noise coming from? How come? Is that you, Jay? Oh, no, that's me. Okay, weird. Anyways, live with you Monday through Thursday, 7:30 p.m. We were just having a conversation and got like, oh yeah, we're running the intro right now. Shit. And we had a little connection problem we were trying to take care of. I hope everybody is doing well today. What is up? How is everybody's Thursday? I just turned the comments on for Pilled, so there we go right there. You see them start to fly in. We were just talking, so next week, we put out on the social Redpill asking for some feedback from people, seeing what they thought we could do better. And one of the biggest things that came up was the time. So next week, we're going to be running, I think, an hour to an hour and a half earlier. We haven't decided. Jay and I still got to work out the kinks, but this show will most likely be at either 6 p.m. Mountain Standard Time or 6:30 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, which would be 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, 8:30 Eastern Standard Time. And then Fringe, which is on Friday nights, is at 8:30 Mountain Standard Time, would now be at, what is that? Would now be an hour and a half earlier as well. So that would go on at like 7 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, or maybe 7:30 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. It would start at this time typically, 9:30 Eastern Standard. And so everything will just move back an hour, hour and a half. So hopefully you guys like that, and that we can, help retain a lot of you guys, because I know that bedtime comes fast for everybody, and sometimes I have to catch up the show later on. By the way, we also are our backup shows are backed up at redpill.radio. So redpillproject.radio? Oh no, it's redpillradio.online. Redpillradio.online. And that'll take you to our Podbeam. That's on Apple Podcasts. That's on Spotify. That's on Google Podcast, and a few others. So you can download that podcast if you just want to listen to the audio. All of these videos are backed up, usually on Library. We're getting a Brighton account. We're getting a Rumble account. We have a Rumble account, but we're just not using it too much. We're talking to the Gab, and so we're trying to get on some other platforms and see what we can do. Tomorrow, we're going to have conversations on the Fringe. It'll be at the normal time, 8:30 p.m., and then Fringe After Dark at 10:30 p.m. A topic? I don't know, Jay. Does the number 369 ring a bell?
No.
Oh, Jay's having 369. Nikola Tesla said, if you want to understand, if you want to understand the universe, think in the sense of 369, energy, frequency, vibration. So I think it's time to have.
You've been seeing a ton of shit on 369 lately.
I have.
Not directly correlated to people actually saying 369, but I've seen a ton of stuff on vibration, everything. And it's wacky, man. It's amazing how I saw this interesting theory the other day that at some point people from Mars came here and they did something and it effed up our planet and allowed them to take over and control us.
Jay, are you on Wi-Fi or you want a wired connection? He's broken up. Yeah, he's breaking up. If you are on Wi-Fi, please change over to a wired connection. Or reset your modem, because your connection in like this. I know it's not your fault.
Is that better?
Not really. It's not your microphone. It's your digital connection.
All right, I'm gonna I'm gonna get out, reset it, and then I'll
Yeah,
get back
reset
on.
it. Come on back in. I'll let you back in.
All right.
Let me know if I don't answer immediately. Just go ahead and send me the notification.
right.
But I will just take over and rock this, and like it's like that song from the '80s, "Dancing with Myself, Dancing with Myself." All right. Well, we're talking about Nikola Tesla tomorrow night, so I'm going to see about getting a co-host. Anybody know who Billy Carson is? I've requested for Billy Carson, Matt LaCroix to actually come on the show, so we're looking to have one of them on Conversations on the Fringe on one of these nights, which would be really cool. We've had people in the past that have been on Ancient Aliens, these types of things. And so looking to get some cool guests going on Fringe. Also bringing some guests in the Daily Dose and seeing how that goes. Tonight, what are we talking about? Man, what's up, Hunter Biden? Jay knows about this story. I'm going to wait for him to come back, and we'll start talking about that. But the title of this episode is called Second Amendment. And see, there's a specific reason I talked about this. And, well, the main reason is that Joe Biden had this conversation today where he talked about the Second Amendment. And I found it very interesting, okay, because he used very specific words for Joe Biden here, right? He says the second no amendment is absolute. And he says that he will be bringing in executive orders on gun control pertaining to ghost guns. And he says none of these executive orders will impinge on your amendment. Now, I just like looking up definitions. So, impinge says have an effect or impact, especially a negative one, right? A strike, advance over an area belonging to someone or someone else, encroach. Now, you have to understand is the original wording is infringe, right? Now, this is very important why he uses these two words. And he says impinge, not infringe. Okay? Because they're setting people up to understand that the Second Amendment... Remember, he said Second Amendment is not absolute. Yes, it is. See, the Bill of Rights was given to us by God. These are protections of God-given rights, human rights that we have. That no government, that nobody instills upon us. They are given from God. God, man, government. Like that. God, man, government. God gives rights to man. Man gives control or governance here, below man, okay? No government has control over your rights. But then Joe comes in and says, what? Oh, no amendment's absolute. Oh, yes it is, motherfucker. It's definitely absolute. And if you want to try and test that, you're going to have a very bad day along with everybody else. And so he uses the word impinge instead of infringe. Now, let's look at the difference between these two words, because they use legalese and they use words for a very specific reason. And I'm paying attention to see if Jay's coming in. So impinge, definition, they have an effect on impact, especially a negative one, right? Advance over an area belonging to someone or something else, encroach, right? Or a strike. This is said in the terms, okay, of like a privilege, right, that the government gives you. Impinge is utilized in the sense of a privilege that you are granted. It's not going to impinge on your privileges. But guess what? It does infringe on your rights. Infringe means to actively break the terms of a law or agreement, act so as to limit or undermine something, encroach on. There is legal definition, legal precedent of why this word was used and not the other one. They are setting everybody up to make them think that their rights are given to them by government, not God. And this is critically important to understand because this is the big setup, okay? Now, why is this the big setup? Why does this matter so much? Well, they're going to bring about this executive order, right? They're going to bring about this first executive order. They're going to do something so nonchalant that doesn't affect any gun owners, has no effect whatsoever. And then you have to ask yourself, then what comes next? Well, see, we're about to have a series of events happen here in the United States. Remember, they set the narrative. Right now, they're setting the narrative. We had 2 or 3 mass shootings, right? False flag ops. Now they basically say, well, we're going to go and put an executive order, which isn't a constitutional amendment, which is not law, okay? It's policy for the executive branch. That's what that is. We're going to put an executive order out there to ban shadow guns. You can't ban shadow guns, ghost guns. You don't ban these things, okay? This makes no sense. People can create these things out of milling, right? They go out there, they get a metal mill, they can go out there and create an AR-15 themselves that's unregistered. Basically what they're doing is they're setting a precedent for unregistered guns. Check the narrative. They're setting a precedent for unregistered guns. That's what this executive order is going to pertain to. It's not going to pertain to ghost guns that people are making in their basements and their garages. It's going to pertain directly to guns that are not registered. Watch. And this is the first part of the narrative of how they're going to entrap you. So you're going to ask yourself, well, how does this play out in the grand scheme of things? Well, we got more false flag operations coming, right? We are on the brink of war in the Middle East. We're on the brink of war in Asia Pacific. We're on the brink of war in Eastern Europe, okay? We have protests and riots from BLM already starting in the United States. Instability is about to happen. I heard also a little rumor that EMPs have been strategically set up all across the United States and could go off like that. EMP goes off, no gas, no cell phones, no internet, no television, no bank accounts. Yeah, that bad. Always have a little bit of gold and silver on you. So, what does this mean? Is there's going to be an event coming very, very shortly. I'm telling you, I said it last night, is that when BLM and Antifa step up, when Chauvin is cleared of all charges, because he did nothing wrong, when he's cleared of all charges, they are going to riot. They are not going to protest. They are going to riot. And when they begin rioting, you watch out. Because people on the right, they've had enough. They're going to step up. They're going to step forward. And shit is going to hit the fan. I'm not saying I am. I'm not saying anybody out here is going to. Because we are not like that. We are pacifists. We are nonviolent. But other people are going to, because Trump is no longer in power. And they don't give a shit anymore. They're to the brink. Which means that when that happens, now they're going to start implementing more controls and regulations on guns. This is just a precursor event to what is about to happen. People are going to perform armed protests, both left and right. Aggregation's going to come. Events are going to happen. You're probably going to see something like what happened with the one kid up there in Minnesota, right? These types of, or Wisconsin, you're going to see these types of events again start playing out. And then they're going to implement more executive order, more control in the Congress and the Senate. Look, you got to remember, the 2 bills, the Senate, Feinstein's ban on AR-15, military-looking weapons and high-capacity magazines, and then the gun registration and ammo registration bill have not hit the floors yet. I wonder why. What are they waiting for? They have to go in precedent. Joe Biden has to initiate this executive order first and foremost. The reason they need to do that is because it's going to go out there. Jay, are you good? Can you hear me?
Can you hear me?
No, it's shit, dude.
Really?
Yeah. Did you reset your modem?
Yeah, twice.
Just go with it. I think you might be fine. It started to clear up for a second there. But so Joe Biden doing this executive order is the first step. Him coming out and saying, Jay, I don't know if you heard it all, but Joe Biden said today, no amendment is absolute. Yeah, it is, motherfucker. You ain't God. God gave us our rights, of which the Bill of Rights is ordered upon. Derived from the Magna Carta, right? Inalienable rights. Inalienable means, guess what? It is absolute, motherfucker. Okay? And then he says, don't worry, my executive order will not impinge on the Second Amendment. Not infringe, which is break a legal contract. Impinge. He's utilizing legalese, legal terms, to basically sway the attention around the fact that the Second Amendment is, he's saying it's a privilege, not a right, is basically what it comes down to. And this is paramount for the next steps that they're going to bring about.
Yeah. You know what? You know what people need to start doing is saying, you know what? Me paying taxes is a privilege, not a right.
It's a privilege for the government. Yep.
Exactly. F you.
Oh, it's coming. Once they launch these platforms, dude, once Mike Lindell's and Trump's platform get launched, and once you have a massive uptake of it, we are starting the tax protest. We are doing it. Yeah, he just violated his presidential duties, 100% Harry Cummings. And so we are going to start a massive peaceful protest event. No taxation without representation. And we are not being properly represented in the executive branch, in Congress, and in Senate. Our federal government is now rogue, and we will no longer pay taxes. And the more of us that can come forth and do this, the harder it will be for the IRS to ever come down on any of us.
Right.
Because if there's 20 million of us, we're not paying taxes anymore. Guess what happens to them? They're screwed. But listen, they already know that this is coming. They already know, man. They are going to wreck this world with war, with instability. And I heard that the EMP, did you see the EMP stuff?
No.
I've heard rumors there's EMPs set around the United States that are set to go off. And if they go off, no banks, no fuel pumps, no electricity.
Really?
Yeah. All right, so I come up over here. Jack Hadfield said, breaking, BLM protesters, including George Floyd's nephew, have stormed the Iowa state capitol. I call that a siege. Right?
Sounds like more terrorism.
It does. The protesters attacked troopers when they attempted to arrest one woman and encouraged people to pull up to the houses of state legislators. Now they are being arrested, I heard, but there you go. Where's the outrage from the left on this one? They're probably like, "Oh, good for them. You know, they George Floyd deserves justice." And yeah. So, Hunter Biden, Jay.
Yeah.
This is from the Western Journal, by the way. I'm showing it right here. Western Journal explosive report: Hunter Biden finally brought down 26-year FBI vet nailed him. Dynasty in ruins. Go ahead, Jay.
I'm not on it, so you're going to have to do it.
Well, this is your article that you sent me.
Yeah, so I know, but I'm not on the article because I was logged out of everything.
So in a bombshell report published Thursday, the Daily Mail claimed to have authenticated the abandoned laptop allegedly belonging to Hunter Biden. And if its contents are indeed true, they should bring the world crashing down on the Biden family dynasty. Hunter, according to a report first broken last fall by the New York Post, left a MacBook at a Delaware computer repair shop in April of 2019. Its contents led to the reporting that purported to implicate now President Joe Biden in an international pay-for-play business scheme along with Hunter and others in China. The laptop also told a story of Hunter engaging in heavy drug use, paying for sex with prostitutes, engaging in a sordid, toxic, and drug-fueled relationship with his late brother's widow, Hallie Biden. Hunter confirmed some of the details of his drug use in an interview this past week. So there's one part of this I want to talk about. Okay, when Joe texted him a typically doting message, "Good morning, my beautiful son. I miss you and love you." This is from Joe Biden the Hunter. "Love you, Dad." On February 24th, 2019, Hunter raged at his father for having made clear to the world that the only reason for not running for president is your family problems. "I'm glad to be the fucking bullseye you painted on my back," the Daily Report reported. Hunter complained that his father's advice to not defend himself in the media over stories about the expensive divorce from his ex-wife Kathleen Biden or his affair with his brother's widow Hallie had backfired, and added sarcastically, "Oh, good morning from fucking rehab." And so, you know, Hunter's a loose end here. Who else thinks that Hunter was the Easter Bunny?
What?
Remember the Easter Bunny that showed up the other day on with Joe and Jill? I think it was Hunter.
So I sent you a link to another part of this.
Okay.
And it's really important, and you may want to play the audio. It's about 1:16, but more or less as I'll give you a summary of it. In an audio recording exclusively obtained by the National Pulse reveals Hunter Biden discussing business involvement with a spy chief of China and how his business partner, Devin Archer, named him and his father as a witness in a Southern District of New York criminal case. So this is explosive. We actually have now confirmed this is actually Hunter Biden's laptop, and we have audio from this linking him to a China spy chief who has since disappeared.
Right. Now, this came out before, but all of this stuff was not validated. The news, mainstream news, was not picking up on it. I'm going to go ahead and play this, Jay. Let's go ahead and do this.
Yeah, man.
Calling, but my old partner Eric at New York to tell me. I get calls from my father to tell me that the New York Times is calling, but my old partner Eric, who literally has done me harm for I don't know how long, is the one taking the calls because my father will not stop sending the calls to Eric. I have another New York Times reporter calling about my representation of the, literally, Dr. Patrick Koh, the fucking spy chief of China, who started the company that my partner, who was worth $323 billion, founded.
Devin Archer.
It is now missing. The richest man in the world is missing, who was my partner. He was missing since I last saw him in his $58 million apartment and signed a $4 billion deal to build the fucking largest fucking LNG port in the world. And I am receiving calls from the Southern District of New York, from the U.S. Attorney himself. My best friend in business, Devin, has named me as a witness without telling me.
Sounds like Hunter is a loose cannon there. Now, we know that Bobolinsky, right, confirmed everything that was being said there. Confirmed everything that was being said here. And so this is interesting because Durham,
we have to, yeah.
Durham is still ongoing. Durham has not responded to, you remember Seth Rich. It's all that information is supposed to be destroyed on the 28th in the Seth Rich murder trial. Durham has not responded because he's the one that currently has this information. Plus, I'm pretty sure that he has this information.
Yeah. And didn't Patrick Byrne tell us something was going to drop pretty big?
Yep. And he did change it to 3 to 6 weeks.
This is big. This is big. If this hits, I mean, it's hit Western Journal, but it needs to start to hit other places.
So
and why does the idiot come out and do a fucking interview where he actually says, yeah, I was smoking Parmesan cheese because I thought it looked like crack. I mean, you know why? We all know why.
Well, because because actually, you got to give some context to that. When you smoke crack kind of looks like it's little rocks, little white rocks, and sometimes you're putting it on a glass table and you cut it, and those pieces can fly off the table.
Oh. You're really going to give the people a perspective.
Yeah, I'm giving them a perspective. It can fly off the table. It can go to the edges of the table. So hypothetically speaking, if you're eating Parmesan cheese or anything like that, and you're high on crack and you want another hit and there's no more left, you're going through the carpet.
Crumbing, man.
You're crumbing. Crumbing. That's right. It's no joke shit, man. The stuff, but it only lasts while you're high on it. I mean, it like an hour later, you're like, yeah, that was stupid. But, okay, so Hunter Biden is incredibly vulnerable right now. So he's got to be under control somehow.
Mm-hmm.
And listen, maybe this is the way that they try to take out Joe Biden. Think about it. If Durham comes out and says, Joe Biden, you're complicit. Boom, 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 right? And everybody's like, yay! And then all of a sudden, the VP comes in and you have Kamala. And we go, no! She was in on it. But see, that maybe this is the way they take him out. I don't know. But this is interesting. This is big because if this progresses forward and Durham is looking into this, this unravels everything. Just imagine if Hunter Biden, now think about this. What did he say? He said they got a U.S. I want to go back here because this is from 2019, okay? I want to go back here. And he says,
my partner. He was missing since I last saw him in his
listen what he says about the U.S. attorney
apartment and signed a $4 billion deal to build the fucking largest fucking LNG port in the world. And I I am receiving calls from the Southern District of New York, from the U.S. Attorney himself.
I'm receiving calls from the Southern District of New York, the District Attorney himself.
My best friend in business.
Southern SDNY, okay? That's it. That's interesting. So this is circa time frame. Yep. So I'm receiving calls from the Southern District of New York from the U.S. Attorney himself. I believe that this one would be U.S. Attorney SDNY. This is 2019, I think. Because now it's like someone's daughter or something, right? Let's find this out here. There we go. We'll find it on Wikipedia. The only thing Wikipedia is good for.
The only thing good Wikipedia is for.
So this would have been Jeffrey Berman, right? Because he says himself, okay?
Yep.
So himself. And I believe this is from 2018. And so this would be Jeffrey Berman. And where I've seen this name before. I forgot where this was. Okay, so anyways, so that would have been Jeffrey Berman reaching out to him. And I guarantee you that this is somehow referred to because criminal prosecution can be referred from one district to another district to special prosecutors. And I'm telling you is I'm in the belief that Durham's all over this. And that this is what might be being said or meant by Patrick Byrne.
Yeah.
3 to 6 weeks. It's coming. Hunter Biden, watch what happens. So, and then,
some of the best news I had today when I got that notification.
And you got to remember, Durham is investigating what? Voter fraud. Burisma.
Yep.
Burisma, Hunter Biden, Joe Biden, Hillary Clinton, the DNC, Seth Rich, CrowdStrike, everything Trump was impeached for. This is big. This is going to come back to bite them in the ass. I think it's going to take them all down. I hope it does take them all down.
Yeah, have you had a take on the whole Matt Getz thing yet?
I think he's screwed. I think he's screwed.
Yeah.
I think they got him. It sounded like Matt Getz couldn't keep his dick in his pants. I just saw that there was a Venmo transactions, $900 to a known sex trafficker, okay?
From Matt Getz?
From Matt Getz, of which, because they subpoenaed all these records, of which that sex trafficker went and sent that money, distributed it to 3 different girls that same day.
Yeah. So the question would be, is Matt Getz in this right now because he supported Trump or because he tried to play a little pull one over on Trump? You got to ask yourself that question.
I don't know. What was Trump's... I know Trump came out and said something about Getz today, right?
I didn't know if he did today.
What did Trump say about Matt Getz? Let's see here. Let's see. Former President Donald Trump had to be talked out of defending former Rep. Matt Getz after report surfaced that the Justice Department was investigating whether Getz had a sexual relationship with a minor and broke federal sex trafficking laws. According to the New York Times, Maggie Haberman, there you go, Maggie, who on Thursday told CNN's New Day that Trump had really wanted to defend the GOP lawmaker, but he was told to stand down because the allegations against Getz were so serious. His first impulse was that he wanted to defend Getz. He's one of our people, Haberman says. Several of his advisors had told him that's a very bad idea. The nature of what Getz is being investigated for is serious, and that's not something that former President Trump should be out on a limb for. And I haven't been following this too much, but it looks like the information out there is damning, whether that's truthful or not. I mean, he could have been paying these 3 women for, doing work for him. I don't freaking know. And the reports that this dude's a trafficker. Come on. This dude's a trafficker. Why do people know about him? Why is this Venmo? In jail? Why is he in jail? There you go, right?
Yeah.
And what's this really taking the attention away from? The border, maybe?
Hunter Biden, maybe?
Well, Hunter Biden information that's about to come out.
Yeah.
Now, I've been going to the Drudge Report lately because, I mean, obviously it's a fast place to get headlines, right? Countries worldwide hit new records for virus and deaths. USA daily cases steady at 65,000. Rise of variants define next phase. Severe symptoms in young. Okay? YouTube purging DeSantis video over claims children don't need to wear masks. Americans bipolar summer. July 4th parade and National Mall canceled. Denver bar slammed after requiring proof of vaccination. Venezuela mayor marks home of patients with red symbol. Everybody's calling for mass death. So what did I say? What did I say back in January?
Yep. Round 2's coming.
Everything's going to start opening back up.
Shut it down.
And they're going to shut it down. I said everything's, and then you're going to have resurgence. Now here's the thing, is we know that Texas opened everything up, Florida opened everything up, and the deaths in the cases plummeted, gone, because it's a farce, it's bullshit. But now we're seeing other countries around the world being utilized for manipulation. Not only that, is I've heard rumors of companies, businesses, requiring the vaccination before coming back to the office. Now, I want you guys to think about this clearly, okay? Anybody who denies you a service, okay, for the vaccine, for not having a vaccine certificate, so if you walk into the grocery store, you can't shop here, seats taken, right? They can do that. Even though that's medical discrimination. They can deny you service for anything. But your employer cannot deny you your job based upon the fact that you don't have a vaccination. That is in a violation of your HIPAA rights, of your HIPAA laws. That is in violation of your 4th and 5th Amendment rights. And that is medical discrimination, and your employer can be sued for that. And this is what they're going to say. They're going to say, it's going to be on the honor system, guys. But your boss is going to ask for your paperwork. And they're going to make sure you have it. But if they don't do it on the honor system, they mandate it and say that you have to show it, guess what's going to happen? You better lawyer the hell up, because there's going to be some class action lawsuits. And those class action lawsuits are going to lead to what? Legal precedents. Congress implementing new laws to change HIPAA laws to allow for vaccination certificates to be accepted and not a violation. That's where this is all headed, guys. I'm telling you, this is where it's all freaking headed. This is what they want. This is the world they want, the world of control they want. And they're going to get it as long as we stay silent, as long as we do not stand up with our voices in protest, as long as we do not take away the things that they need. They need your consent, and they need your money. That's what they need. And if you don't give them your consent, and you don't give them your money, they can't win. And their system crumbles overnight. But here's the thing, is you can't organize something like that on a grassroots without dissemination, without distribution. It's coming. It's coming. We were thinking about building it, but there's so many things coming out. I'm not going to compete with Trump. I'm not going to compete with Lindell. But we're going to utilize those platforms for exactly that. We're going to utilize this platform, Pilled. YouTube, as long as it'll keep us, to do these things. The social red pill, to do those things. Right now, if we said we're going to do a tax protest, right now the social red pill, we'd be creamed. IRS would just slam us and shut us down. We need millions to do this. It's coming, people. I'm telling you, it's coming. We're planning it. It's coming. Because that is how we show them our power, is with our money.
Yeah, man.
New York City. You see this, Jay?
Oh, what about New York City?
New York City rich face 52% tax rate. Now, you got to remember, this isn't New York City's wealthy. This is New York City rich. This is just upper middle class guys.
Yeah, Mackie sent me something with a link to what New York State was going to do because of the new taxes they're imposing on the wealthy.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, Jay, it's time to move. But, you know, I was actually like, holy crap. I'm actually considering it right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so basically if you make over $1 million, good luck in New York City, which that's a lot of people. But you know what? To all the liberals out there who think that, you know, what we can do is we can just pay for the Green New Deal with all the taxes from rich and the businesses, you have to understand. The rich don't pay taxes because the rich don't take an income because they have assets of which have tax privilege, tax credit attached to them, of which no taxes are all their taxes are mitigated because of their assets that pay them money, of which that mitigates their tax burden. This is why wealthy don't take a salary. And if they do, yeah, they might take a $500,000 salary as a CEO of a business, right? Bob Iger, he was taking a $350 million salary at Disney.
Right.
Right? Okay, so he was paying a large percent of that in taxes. Right. But what was his stock and dividends? Hundreds of millions. Hundreds of millions. And those are assets. And through those assets, he can mitigate his tax responsibility. And most likely, they didn't pay him as his person. They paid his business. That's the smartest way to go and get a job is, instead of doing a W2, you do a W-9. And they pay you as a business.
Right.
And not a sole proprietor, but an LLC, a minimum S Corp. Then your company be like, well, why are you doing it? Doesn't matter why I'm doing it, just do it. Yeah. So, interesting things happening. We talked about this yesterday. This is Newsweek magazine. This is Newsweek, guys. What they are doing is slowly setting the narrative for things to come. Can blood from the young people slow aging? Silicon Valley has bet billions it will.
What did you just say? Will the blood from the young slow aging for the what?
We talked about this just a little bit yesterday. Here you go. Here's the article, Jay. And I want everybody to look at this picture that I'm showing and look at the lady's eye. Look at the old lady's eye. Okay? What does that eye look like?
Reptilian.
It does look reptilian, doesn't it?
It does.
Look at that fucking eye. I'm not making this shit up, guys. Right there. Let's zoom in on that.
Boy, does it ever.
It does look very reptilian right there. And that's some photo brushing. They did that on purpose. If you look at that eye, I just zoomed in. You can see the light smear and kind of how it's all happening. That's done on purpose. They could have fixed that up to make that look very nice and neat, but they didn't.
Yeah, they could have made her look like the other girl's retina where they have just the white dot. It's almost like saying, we're going to take you to this and make you this.
Yep.
And what I mean is we're going to take you from young and make you old.
Yep.
Whoa. Pretty heavy duty, man.
Yeah, and there's some other symbolism there, too. I want to point out. Let me just make sure that it's there. Okay, that's there.
We were at a big. It's called. It's like a Sam's Club or a Costco. We were at BJ's. It's called in Rochester, and there was really nobody there. We went early in the morning, maybe like Monday, so there wasn't a lot of people there. And all of these squares for the floor, for the 6 feet apart, were all open. And I go to Melissa, hey, look, 666. And she spun her head around, and I go, and it goes all the way down. And so basically what I'm telling you is that in the stores, they basically are putting 3 positions of the 6 feet. 666.
Interesting.
Right? And Melissa goes, where'd you see that? And I was like, I did see it on TikTok, but
right.
It's a great observation that somebody's made that their symbolism is everywhere.
Jay, social distancing is how many feet?
6. Yeah.
There's symbolism.
Why not 7? Why not 7?
Why not 5?
Exactly. 5's a pretty good number.
And you notice how when they show examples of it, they always show 3 people?
Huh. 666.
Yeah.
Wow.
But here's the thing: is I'm telling you seriously that the whole Satan devil thing that they're exploiting here with all this number and the symbology, all Hollywood going after it. Okay. We have spirituality, which is the belief in Christ, the path of Christ, these types of things, right? The belief in the Christian God, the belief in God itself, okay? This is spirituality. Jesus said in the Gospel of Thomas, pick up a piece of wood and I'll be there. Look under a rock and you will find me. You do not need a church or any place made of stone to worship me, for you can find me within yourself, right? Now, what does this mean? It means that spirituality lies within the heart of our being, of who we are. We don't need churches. Institutions have been instituted among men as factors of control. And just as if there are control factors out there, the Catholic Church, the Vatican, that control hordes of people towards one degree of disinformation, of misalignment of spiritual teachings, there is also that on the other side. And we call that Satanism. And it hides the real truth. And so when you see this, the whole 666 and the number of the beast and all this stuff and Revelations and all this type of stuff being played out, what's really happening is these people, these puppet masters, are orchestrating this on earth to produce conflict, to produce strife, to produce fear. And they use their minions, the Satan worshippers, okay, to perpetuate it. Like, for instance, Eliphas Levi. You ever heard this name, Jay?
No.
He was a French magician. And when I say magician, I don't mean magic, M-A-G-I-C. I mean magic, M-I-G-I-C-K. Okay? He was one of the former members of the Hermetic Order of the Golden Dawn. He was a good friend with a guy by the name of Aleister Crowley. Okay? You ever seen this picture of Basmet? You know what I'm talking about, who Basmet is?
No. I don't know why you're throwing all these names at me tonight.
Well,
I don't know who these people are.
I'm going to send you a link, and then I'll show it for everybody there. I want to give everybody a little history on this. And this is, I'm not trying to lose subscribers here. I don't want you guys all to hate me. And, go ahead and hit that, Jay. Okay.
Oh, Moloch.
Nope, that's not Moloch. That's Basmet. Okay? This is Baphomet. All right? Eliphas Levi is the first person. This is actually his drawing. Look at right there. Right at the bottom. Eliphas Levi. Right there. This is his drawing. Okay? This drawing was actually prescribed and talked about in something called the Emerald Tablets of Thoth, the originator of Hermeticism. Okay? There is nothing at all whatsoever evil about this painting, this picture. It's astrotheological. It's anthropomorphication. It's duality natured. Okay? And a great symbologist could break this down for you, of which I have done. All right? But here's the thing. Is this was hijacked by Satanists. Because that's what they do. They go and they infiltrate orders and they corrupt them, just like they did to the Freemasons, just like they did to the Hermetic Order of the Golden Dawn, just like they did to the New Age movement. They go in there and they hijack their symbology, they hijack their teachings, and they construe them towards black magic. That's what they do. And so when you look at the big picture of what's happening, all this stuff with devil and Satan worship and all this stuff, this is them hijacking certain teachings, mythologies, all these things, and utilizing the ignorance of people against themselves. So Bernadette says yes, so now it's Baal. That is not Baal. That is definitely not Baal. Moloch would be the representation of Baal. And the best way to see this is the bull and owl shadow. Let's see if I can find it. There's some good pictures out of there. What is it? The Cult of Minerva. If you go and research the owl cults, and the one primary one that would be talking about is the Athenian cult, right? The cult of Minerva, I mean, however you want to do it, right? And I'm looking for a specific picture represented, okay? Because if you look at the majority of the pictures of the owl has no ears, okay? Right. Because the owl isn't not meant to hear, the owl is meant to see. Okay? And you can see this, I'm kind of showing a little bit of the symbolism right here. You got the owl there, no ears. Obviously the owl doesn't show the ears. You got it over here, no ears. But then you get Moloch, right? The Moloch owl. The Moloch owl has ears. This is incredibly important to understand. The Moloch owl, okay? So it says here is this is done by someone who doesn't understand symbology very well. I can tell you this just by reading it. Also known as Moloch, Minerva's owl, not true, is one of the time representative of the owl, an ancient Near Eastern deity worshipped by several cults. The Canaanites, the Carthaginians, the Phoenicians, the Israelites, especially devoted to making human sacrifices. Okay. Now, Moloch has been depicted as a bull. Now, what you have to understand is Lucifer is represented as a false light. We know this. The bringer of light, the bearer of light, the morning light, right? The one that God shone the light on, the first light shone. The false light, though, is what you have to look at this. And so in esoteric teachings and in mystery schools, this is representative of what Buddha called Maya, illusion. As in, light reflects and refracts off of this can, correct? Actually, no. Because what you're visualizing, what you're seeing projected out here is created in the deepest and darkest depths of your mind that light has never even penetrated. Think about that. Everything that you're seeing right here, okay, is false. It's a false light. Maya, illusion. It's created in the deep depths of your mind, your visual cortex back here, that's never even experienced light. That is what is meant in ancient mystery teachings about Lucifer. Not Beelzebub, not Satan, Lucifer. Very important to understand there is a difference, because the control factors like the Vatican have construed it all together and made it one deity. It's not. It's false. And Lolo, it's all satanic. No, it's not, Lolo. That is incredibly incorrect. It's not. But if you take the cult of Minerva, what they did is it was one of the first cults that was hijacked, and it was a feminine, female-ran cult. Okay? Now, take an owl with ears and shine a light on the owl. What do you have against the wall?
Shadow.
What's the shadow have? Moloch.
Horns.
Horns. Bull.
Oh.
And that is also someone we know of as Baal. B-A-A-L.
So you're saying the owl is the eyes as Moloch hides in the shadow.
Now you're starting to see the symbology of how it operates, right?
Wow. So Congress is the eyes.
Well, the bull hides in the shadows that is not even seen, because what we're actually talking about is the representation of symbology of Washington, D.C. So, Washington, D.C. owl.
That's pretty interesting stuff.
There we go. And so we have this owl right here in Washington, D.C., and so we're kind of talking about the very similar representation of this owl, right? Is when the light shines on Washington, D.C., hold on, we're going to close that out. But so think about this. There is the owl. At the heart of the owl is the Capitol building. Understand that. At the heart of the temple is the Capitol building. In the middle, at the top of the Capitol building is who? Libertas. Who's Libertas? The Greek goddess Liberty, right?
Yeah.
Is not really the Greek goddess Liberty. It's Ishtar, Babylonian, the whore of Babylon. Okay? So at the heart of the owl is Ishtar. Now that's very, very reminiscent because guess what? Ishtar can be traced right back to who, Jay? You don't know. Athena.
Yeah.
And we're talking about the cult of Athena. And so, but here's the thing, is when you shine the light, you have Moloch. And this is how Moloch hides in the shadows. Now think about this. The deep state, the puppet masters, where do they hide? In the shadows.
In the shadows, yeah.
And it's only when you cast light on them can you see who they really are.
Yep. And
you can see their temples. And I think a lot of the Q stuff then when they were talking about temples and temples of worship, this is it right here. Because in that's Congress and Senate right there, guys. That's the Capitol building. That is where they sacrifice human beings every day with the laws that they pass. It's the ultimate palace of sacrifice right there at the heart of the owl of Minerva.
Think about the abortion laws.
That's right. Abortion laws, wars.
Yeah. Wars. Yeah.
How many laws have they done that enslave people against their will? Yep. Through ignorance? Kill people? All Joe Biden's criminal laws that they passed in the 1990s that incarcerated hundreds of thousands, if not millions, of ethnic or of minority people. How many of them died?
Millions.
Yeah.
Yep.
That is the temple of sacrifice. That is the temple of worship right there. Hence why Nancy Pelosi on January 6th, how dare you ransack our sacred temple?
Yep.
Remember when the dude walked in and the police officer goes, dude, don't go in there, man. This place is sacred to them. This is their temple. Well, what you guys all don't know is that underneath there are tunnels. And in these tunnels are their actual temples. Oh, yeah. You go underneath that Capitol building. There's some interesting stuff under there, guys. Yeah. Even some temples that hide in the shadows, if you know what I mean. And by the way, underneath DC is catacombs and tunnels that are all interconnected.
I wonder if anybody's ever gotten any pictures out of there.
I don't know. But I will tell you, if you want to talk about human trafficking and how do you sacrifice children under that temple, they do it in the tunnels underneath.
Yeah. You know, somebody said this, I was actually going to bring it up, but think of the bull on Wall Street.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh.
Well, bull is representative of what? Taurus?
Yeah.
Okay. And so, I got to refresh. Well, yes and no. I mean, it's, there's so many variations of meanings to all these things. But what it does is man goes in there. And man who understands magic, magicians, sorcerers, these types of people, witches, they go in there and they misconstrue symbology. Because you have to understand, as a symbol is a probability within a quantum state of energy, right?
Right.
Whatever you give attention to, that quantum state becomes reality. The wave pattern basically becomes enfolded, and you get to see what it is. It collapses, the collapsing of the wave pattern. This just means that everything on a quantum level is at a certain percentage of energy of probability. And when I give it attention, that probability comes to a certainty. that wave pattern collapses. That's all a symbol is. A symbol is you and me giving energy to something over long periods of time. This is why the name Jesus Christ, this is why the Holy Cross, the Bible, these things have power against certain things that are evil. It's because we give it this power. This is why those things can heal, because we believe in it and give it its power.
Right.
And this is the true meaning of what a symbol is. And so, think about this story. Moses, all right, comes down from Mount Arafat with the Ten Commandments, right? And he sees the Israelites worshiping the false idol, the golden bull. And he's commanded by God to get rid of them. And he kills the women, the men, and the children alike with a sword for worshiping the false idol. And he did this with his ram's horn. Now, you know about the precession of the equinox, how the zodiac goes backwards in the precessional sequence 26,500 years, right?
Yeah.
The golden bull is Taurus, right? Moses carried a ram's horn. The ram is Aries. Taurus and Aries is a precessional sequence in the zodiac. And so what they're talking about there was a change of guard. The change of the age came with a change of guard. Moses was the new Messiah, if you want to talk about that, ushering in the new age of Aries, and the old age of Taurus, the old guard, was being diminished, and that had to be killed off. Okay, very symbolic in representation. And now, go forward. After Moses, right, Old Testament, Moses, Old Testament, who's the New Testament? Jesus.
I don't know. Jesus. Okay. Yeah.
Pisces. Entered the age of Pisces. Now, what did the Christian church do? Did they not go through and decimate all the history of all paganistic religions throughout the world?
Yes, they did.
They destroyed the old guard, the Crusades, everything. Okay? Now, Pisces is representative of two fish, right? Now you have to ask yourself, you ever seen an ichthus?
No.
You ever drove around and seen the little fish in the back of cars?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's called an ichthus. All right?
How the fuck you know all this?
Well, I'm reading it right off the top here. Okay, so do people understand what the ichthus is? Of why Jesus was represented by the ichthus? Why the age of Pisces is two fish? What I want to show you guys here is this. Yeah, I can't spell today. No, not vicious picks. 'Cause Pisces. I can't spell today, sorry. The Vesicus Pisces. In sacred geometry, we have something called the Vesicus Pisces. Okay? And this is the intersection of two circles called the sacred circle. And the intersection gives us this football-like shape in the middle. Now, if you break off this football-like shape, you get a fish. And there's very major symbolic representation to this, why this was attributed to Jesus, why Jesus was represented within the Piscean age. He was a savior within the Piscean age. And right now we're entering the age of Aquarius. This is the next 2,150-year progression in the zodiac, right? And what are they doing? They're killing off the old age. Just like Moses did, just like the Christians did. And the new God, and the new Messiah is who? AI.
I don't know about that. I don't necessarily know if I like that.
Well, I don't like that either. But this is what a lot of people are saying. Yeah, the cupbearer, Aquarius, the cupbearer. He's attributed to technology. I gotta find where it says that. He's the water bearer technology. There it is. Let me see here. Well, anyways, but this is a lot of the things that I've seen is that Aquarius is attributed to this and that AI is that savior that the Satanists are propping up, the Satanists or the Shadow Lords or the whatever the hell you want to call them, the ones that are hijacking spirituality, the ones that have hijacked religion, the ones that have hijacked humanity, the ones that are trying to hijack everything about our history and change it to their own story, right? They believe that AI is their Messiah. Now, is that true? I'm just kind of throwing some information out there of what I found in my research, which is fairly very accurate. Because manufacturers embrace robots. Right here. Manufacturers embrace robots as the perfect worker, as the perfect pandemic worker. Global basic income, all this stuff. I don't know. It's a pretty interesting theory, though. But when you start looking at like Baphomet, you start looking at the symbology, you have to understand that they've hijacked certain degrees of symbology, certain degrees of the mysteries that we call them. Okay? And they've done this on purpose because every new age, they wipe out all indication of the last age. They do this, okay, for power and for control. What is it? He who controls the past controls the present. He who controls the present writes the past.
Yeah.
Or he who controls the past controls the future. He who controls the present controls the past. That's their motto, man.
Or at least the history of it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that was a 30-minute rant. Holy shit.
Today's Thursday, isn't it?
Yeah, we're in Fringe tomorrow night.
Holy shit. What are we doing for Fringe?
Tesla, I think. I don't know. What do you want to do? We got to find a guest if we're going to do Tesla.
Yeah. I think we just started hitting the nail and I just think we just touched the surface of the Anunnaki conversation last week.
Do you want to continue on it? We can.
I think we should. There's a lot of things to talk about, there's just a lot we could talk about.
Well,
there's a couple of TikTokers I'd like to get on.
I'm trying to get Billy Carson or Matt LaCroix on the show, and they're professionals on that topic.
Really?
Billy Carson also is really, I sent him an email today, is very well versed on Tesla as well.
Wow.
So we have that. I'm trying to get a guest, so... Needless to say, we're trying to get a guest. We'll see.
Dude, what about that person that they don't ever show their face, but they do a lot of like cartoony kind of things. It's Ella something on TikTok. Do you know what I'm talking about? No? I'll forward you one of her videos and then get into some of them because they're really good. They're really informative. I suspect it's a woman. But if they're putting up these kind of cartoons and stuff, they've got to have some pretty good insight.
Mm-hmm.
And Gian and Lil. Yep. Hey, you guys want to vote on tomorrow's show topic? Well, I guess you would have to vote on that within the next 15 minutes or so we can be ready for it.
No, we're not voting. It's hard to have people vote on it, man, because there's topics that I just don't know shit about.
I think everybody just was like, come on, Josh.
What, about Tesla?
No, just you seem to know a lot about a lot.
Oh.
So
I know a lot about a little. No, I know a little about a lot.
Yeah. Hey, on another note, J. Reed Renovations is hiring in the greater Rochester, New York area. If you have carpenter skills, give me a call.
There you go.
There's my free plug for the night, right?
There you go. Awesome.
Or if you're a subcontractor in the greater Rochester area, let me know. I'm going to tell you something, though, about God.
Everybody's saying East Ranch and Anunnaki. Do Antarctica and Anunnaki to go together. East Ranch, I like that one. I'd love to go there.
I had an epiphany about Antarctica and the Arctic last night. And I made the dreadful mistake of not writing my epiphany down. But it was good. So now I'm gonna have to go brainstorm and try to come up with it, and I'm gonna text you about it.
Dude, check this out. So yeah. I had a dream the other night, last night, and I don't remember. So me and my wife switch spots in the bed, and usually when you just stop dreaming, switch spots in bed, and you'll start dreaming again. Yeah. But I realized why I did, because the sun hits that spot of the bed and wakes me up in the morning. But I dreamed, and it was an interesting dream. Okay, now the night before, I went into a meditation, and I was saying a prayer. Okay, right? Mm-hmm. I was saying a prayer. I was doing a prayer. There's some things happening, and I'm just kind of saying some prayers, reaching out to God, these types of things. And I was actually reaching out to this guardian angel that I've known and been in contact with my whole life. And I kind of see her, right? And she comes down and she goes like this and just scoops my forehead. And everything just kind of lights up, right? And my eyes are closed. I'm in a meditation. And all of a sudden, I see this valley, like mountain terrain, kind of going like this, right? And you have kind of like Letchworth State Park, right? You kind of have like the Grand Canyon. And then all of a sudden, you see like an Arizona sunrise coming up. You see the sun coming up over the mountaintop, and it's filtering in the valley, right? And all of a sudden, I hear a word, and it says, Anina. 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 And I go, that's awkward. And right when I said that was awkward, everything just goes away. It's instant. And I go, that was interesting. And someone said, and a voice said to me, that's important. Look that up now. That's important. Look it up now. Now, Jay, I've talked about this before on this show of words coming to me that are like ancient Aramaic, Hebrew, these types of things, right? So I go out there and I go, okay, well, what does Anina mean, right? I do the search right then and there. And I shit you not, Jason. This is a real deal. This is exactly what happened to me. Okay? Go ahead and click on that link. You'll see. And they're about to see. This is what the word Anina means. By the way, it's in Aramaic. It means answer my prayer.
Wow.
Now tell me that's not just mind-blowing. I've never heard this word consciously before in my life. I don't remember ever hearing this word. I don't know this word, right? I have this vision after this guardian angel of mine scoops my third eye. And the word that comes into my head is Anina. 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 And I go, oh, it's probably some Hebrew or Aramaic word. Aramaic. And it means answer my prayer.
Yeah.
Is that not fucking powerful? I mean,
pretty wild.
I don't even know how to, I told a few people and I was like, should I say that on this show or not? I don't care if people believe me. It happened. This is real deal. This is legit. You can check my search history and see that I searched it like midnight in bed. Right?
That's pretty wild.
Yeah.
So I'm going to tell you, it's strange how things work out. So today I venture out. I'm going to go to Home Depot to get some tools that I need. Mm-hmm. And first place I go to the bank. I put a deposit in the bank. And then I go to Home Depot and I get the tools and stuff. And then I come back to Avon. And I'm like, you know what? I need gun oil for pneumatic gun oil. Yeah. So I go to the hardware store. They don't have it there. So I'm like, I'll go to the lumberyard. So I go to the lumberyard and I go there and I start talking to this guy. And he's kind of looking at me like he knows me. And he's like, where are you from? And I'm like, Avon. So anyways, we get to talking and I suspect he watches the show, but he didn't know if it really was me. And then he said, so we end up talking. He's like, I do kitchen work. And I'm like, are you a sub? And he's like, yeah, I sub for Lowe's. Long story short, I give him my business card and he's like, yeah, no, call me if you got something going on. So there's one sub for the day.
Okay.
I then go out and I meet a potential customer. And this guy's, long story short, he's like, Jay, if you ever need help, I'm more than willing to help. I know how to build decks and everything else. There's two people that want to help me, right? So I I'm on my way home, and I stop at my friend's house because he sees me out on the road. And I go to his house, and he's got this guy who's raising honeybees, and he's actually going to have one of the largest honeybee farms in the Western New York within 2 years. Well, what's he do? He's an electrician and an HVAC guy.
Ha.
There's the third subcontractor for the day.
Nice.
And he's like, Jason, he's like, you ever need any help? Just let me know. Everybody's giving me their numbers. They have my cards. And I get home, and the person that was supposed to come work for me decided not to. And I was a little pissed off about that. But it just goes to show you how God provides for you, you know, or the universe, or however you want to look at it. But I thought it was pretty wild when I got to think about it.
You're absolutely right, because you know what? The universe, God, or however you want to perceive it, it works in mysterious ways, in ways that are much beyond our thinking and conception, right? And that if you put your mind towards something, you have an intention and you have the faith, the belief within that invisible force, right? It'll all come to fruition, man. And for me, I've been very very well connected. So I had this session that I went into a long time ago, and I met this angelic being. And people know that I've talked about other angelic beings that I've met, the Jael, and then there's this other one that I won't name, but been very crazy in my life. And so whenever I need something or want something, right, it just ask and you shall have it. Ask, seek, knock. And that was what Jesus taught us in the Sermon on the Mount. If you ever need anything in life, if you want to manifest something within your life, within the bounds and the laws of God's world, ask, seek, and knock. It's a three-step process. And it comes forth, man. Very cool. And with that, we leave you. We'll see you tomorrow night, 8:30 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, for Conversations on the Fringe. Either Anunnaki or Tesla, will decide, but probably a little bit of both, honestly. You guys take care. We'll talk to you here soon. God bless. Good night.